Brace yourselves as we delve into spine-chilling stories that will resonate through every inch of your being, creating an atmosphere so vivid you'll feel the whispers of shadows and the echoes of the supernatural. So, dim the lights, settle into your favorite chair, and let the ASMR Horror Podcast transport you to the edge of your imagination, where fear becomes an intimate companion. It all started back in '48, when fire swallowed a two-story house whole, spitting out charred remains like twisted branches. Inside, two souls writhed in an inferno, a father and his son, bound by blood and engulfed by flames. The son, they say, emerged from the ashes like a phantom, his skin flayed black as a hawk's shadow, his eyes burning embers under a skull cracked like desert clay. The fire had twisted his mind, warped it into a labyrinth of terror and rage. His first act, his final, twisted betrayal. He took his father's life, a bloody offering to the inferno that had birthed him anew. But the law, blind in the smoke and ash, saw only a corpse. When they came searching for the son, they saw just blackened flesh, mistook death for silence. He slipped through their fingers, a wraith in the woods, a whispered legend woven into the fabric of the Ojai Valley. And that's where the whispers turn to screams, folks. They say the Char-Man still stalks the trails, a flicker of darkness against the whispering leaves. He stalks campers under the silver cloak of moonless nights, his burnt flesh clinging to his bones like a tattered shroud. He'll creep on your campfire, eyes glowing like coals, or hitchhike your ride with a voice raspy as bone against bone. But trust me, son, don't offer him a lift. Don't let him near your flame. For the Char-Man's touch, they say, is colder than desert wind at dawn. It steals your warmth, your life, leaving you a husked shell like the cinders he walks amongst. They say his laughter sounds like crackling logs, and his screams like the wind howling through a hollow skull. And if you hear that unholy symphony in the woods, well, run, son, run faster than a mule chased by scorpions. So next time you find yourself camping under the Ojai stars, keep your fire burning bright, son. And if you hear a whisper on the wind, a laugh that crackles like dry leaves, or a moan that chills your bones like desert winter, remember the tale of the Char-Man, remember the fire that forged a monster, and run, son, run. For in the woods of Ojai, the shadows walk, and the embers of a father's betrayal still burn. But that's not all, folks. See, some say those who vanish in the Ojai Valley don't just become victims. They become part of the Char-Man, their screams woven into his unholy laughter, their bones fuel for his infernal flame. And there's a rumor, a whisper carried on the smoke of campfires, that if you listen closely, you can hear their voices echoing through the trees, begging for escape from their fiery prison. Now, that's a story for another night, a tale steeped in madness and whispers of redemption. But one thing's for sure, son, the Ojai Valley holds secrets older than the redwoods themselves, and some darkness is best left undisturbed. So next time you see a flickering figure in the woods, a silhouette dancing in the flames, just keep walking, son. Keep your eyes on the road, and your heart pounding like a hummingbird's wings. For in the Valley of Whispers, sometimes, the shadows are all you find. Okay, where were we? Ah yes, nestled in the whispers of the Ojai Valley, where shadows stretch long and campfire stories take on a chilling reality. We were talking about the Char-Man, that burnt specter born from ashes and fueled by nightmares. And remember, this ain't a one-note symphony of terror, friends. This tale has layers, like the rings of an ancient redwood, and whispers secrets deeper than a desert well. Now, there were those who scoffed at the campfire warnings, their teenage bravado a flimsy shield against the valley's darkness. For them, in fact, city slickers with more swagger than sense, who decided to test the legends with a weekend in the woods. Names? Well, let's just call them Jake, the joker with a laugh louder than a jackrabbit on speed; Ashley, the beauty with eyes as blue as desert sky; Sam, the musclehead whose brawn never quite met his fear; and Emily, the quiet one, with a gaze that seemed to see through shadows. They pitched their tent under the ancient oaks, their laughter echoing through the silent woods like an invitation. The fire crackled, flames mimicking the embers in the Charman's eyes, but none of them knew it. They told jokes, swapped stories, the usual teenage fare until the darkness deepened, pressing in like a suffocating blanket. That's when the whispers started, faint at first, like dry leaves skittering on the wind. They sounded like forgotten names, lost souls moaning in the night. Emily, her gaze drawn to the shadows, was the first to sense it. A prickle on the back of her neck, a cold hand against her heart. She tried to warn the others, but her voice, usually soft, came out a choked whisper. "Did you hear that?" she asked, her eyes wide with fear. Jake scoffed, his bravado masking a tremor in his voice. "Hear what? Crickets? Your imagination running wild?" As if to contradict him, the whispers grew louder, swirling around them like a malevolent mist. Then, a flicker in the darkness, a charred silhouette dancing at the edge of the firelight. The Char-Man had arrived. His form, warped and twisted, was barely recognizable as human. Blackened flesh clung to his bones like charred bark, and his eyes, two burning embers, stared into their souls. The air grew thick with the stench of burnt flesh and bone-chilling cold. Panic seized the teenagers. Jake, his bravado fading faster than a desert sunset, stumbled back, tripping over his own shadow. Ashley screamed, a high-pitched wail that shattered the night's silence. Sam, momentarily brave, charged, but the Char-Man moved with unnatural speed, a twisted wraith gliding through the flames. His touch, colder than winter, ripped the warmth from Sam, leaving him a hollow shell, staring with empty eyes. Emily, fear forgotten, grabbed Ashley and bolted into the darkness. The woods, once familiar, became a labyrinth of whispering leaves and grasping branches. The Char-Man's laughter, like crackling logs, pursued them, echoing through the night. Their sprint turned into a desperate scramble, fueled by primal fear and the fading embers of hope. They stumbled and fell, thorns tearing at their flesh, but they couldn't stop. The Char-Man's presence, a shadow heavier than a desert mountain, followed them like a hungry wolf. Just as dawn's faint glimmer began to paint the sky, they found it, a cave hidden in the gnarled roots of an ancient oak. They squeezed inside, hearts pounding like trapped birds, praying for sanctuary. Outside, the Char-Man's rage roared, his screams shaking the very earth. They huddled together, the cave's darkness a flimsy shield against the horrors they'd glimpsed. Exhausted, terrified, they clung to each other, the only warmth left in their world. And as the morning sun spilled over the valley, painting the woods in a golden light, they began to tell each other stories, tales of hope, of survival, of a world untouched by the shadows. That was days ago, folks. Those teenagers, forever marked by the Char-Man's touch, escaped the Ojai Valley with their lives, but not their innocence. They carry the whispers within them, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurks in the heart of the woods. May I request you to show your unwavering support by tapping that like button and smashing the subscribe button with unbridled enthusiasm. Your actions hold the key to unleashing a torrent of more exhilarating, spine-chilling tales. Join us in this journey of suspense and excitement, and let's create an unstoppable force of storytelling together. Thank you once more for tuning in. I trust you thoroughly enjoyed tonight's narrative. Until our next encounter, remain with us exclusively at Mr. Savage's ASMR Horror Podcast.